Good morning, boys and girls. It is Friday, May the 15th, 2020, and welcome to your last Friday activity for your kindergarten year. How about that? Mr. Baxter's Learning Channel is your place to graduate kindergarten and be. Hey, we're here. We are going to do a writing activity today, and we are going to write from a memory, okay? And today, since it's our last writing activity, we are going to write about a memory from this year. You Baxter Bees have worked so hard. We've done so many fun things. So I want you to think back about your favorite day. Begin thinking while we go over where we're going and how we are going to get there, all right? Then we will gather ourselves up and we will take a look at some memories. All right, where we're going, guys, where we're going. I can draw and write about a memory, right? Because we are show and tell authors, right? We are illustrators and we are authors, so we can draw and write about a memory. Now, how do we get there? How are we going to show what we know? Well, I will write about my favorite day in kindergarten. You guys are getting ready to head to first grade after the summer coming up. So I want you to think back about your favorite day in kindergarten. Maybe a day where you met Mabel, or maybe a day where we played Rickety Tickety Bumblebee and everybody learned everybody's name. But a way we can do this, guys, is we can take a look at some pictures. Remember? Photographs. Pictures are the absolute best way to spark your brain and remind yourself of some of the fun things that we've done. So I've got 3 photographs that we're going to take a look at today. There are way more than 3 fun things that we did in kindergarten. So start thinking back. We'll look at these 3 photos and then we'll come up with another little list of the fun activities that we did. Then I'll show you how you're going to show me what your favorite day was. But first, let's gather ourselves all together. Hey, we are gathering on our phones or our screens. Everyone is here now. This is our new space now. We are here in the digital beehive. Mr. Bee's Hive is still alive, although it's coming to you through distance learning. So let's take a look at some of those photographs that spark our memory about some of our fun activities that we did in kindergarten. Take a quick look. Let's get the computer out. Open her up. Start it up. All right. We'll get going right away. Let's bring you guys down here so you can see. All right, so the first photograph that we're going to look at, guys, do you remember this fun day in kindergarten? It's when we learned about Christmas all around the world. And in Mr. Baxter's class, we were learning about Christmas in Australia. We read through a fun book about Santa's secret. We had some of those jolly lollies as a little Christmas treat. And you heard about that awesome way that Mr. Baxter got his surfboard. That was a really fun day in kindergarten. This might be the day that you want to draw and write about. All right? Or what about this day where we all took a trip to the pumpkin patch? Do you remember we all went to Popple Farms? We got to pick out our own pumpkin. We got to sit amongst the scarecrows and take pictures. I had a friend of mine standing up on my shoulder taking an amazing picture. Miss this guy so much. Hope he's doing awesome things. All right. And Mr. Baxter was just running around. We had such a fun day that day. Remember, we were bouncing on the bouncy blobs. We were sliding down the big slides. We were feeding the fish. We were going through the petting zoo. So we have so many things that we could draw and write about on this fun day. But I really want to show you Mr. Baxter's favorite day. It happens to be my favorite day in kindergarten each year. You guys know Mr. Baxter is a massive reading fan, and his favorite author is Come on. Sorry. For some reason, this isn't working now. Bear with me. Technical difficulties. There we go. Boom. My favorite day in kindergarten is when we celebrate Dr. Seuss's birthday, because we get to do so many amazing fun activities. We get to read all of his fun stories. We get to draw. We get to color. We get to watch fun videos. We get to read his amazing books, and we get to have fun and be creative kids like we should be in kindergarten. My shirt says, I teach a thing or two in Glenn County schools. This year, I taught 24 of the best things that I have ever met. Most awesome kindergarten class that there is. So this is the memory that Mr. Baxter is going to use for the seesaw activity today. And here is what your seesaw activity will look like. What you're going to do first, I provided this picture of Mr. Baxter, because what you're going to do, this is the one that I am going to be writing about. I want you guys to look at it and just remember this day. This might be the day that you choose, or you may choose one of the other fun activities that we did. All right. So on your second page, I have said my favorite day in Mr. B's hive. All right. And look, you've got a spot right here where you can draw a picture of what your favorite day was. Then I'd like for you to write a sentence, okay? Remember, your sentence is going to start with a capital letter. We're going to put some spaces in between those words. You are going to use some snap words to make your writing easy to read, and you're going to stretch and spell your words, right? Remember, we're going to show with our picture and tell with our words. So, my favorite day in Mr. B's hive was when I was dressed as Dr. Seuss. So, let me get myself drawn here. I remember I had on a red shirt. And there's my head. I also remember that I had on the old Cat in the Hat hat. Let's get a smaller pen to do a couple eyes and a smile. All right, I'm going to color the shirt in. Remember, do your best. This is Mr. Baxter looking Mr. Baxter-ish, right? Because I know it might be tough to draw on this seesaw, but you guys are doing what you can. You guys are not giving up. You're being persistent writers, and I'm very proud of you for that. All right, so this is Mr. Baxter, and it was Dr. Seuss's birthday. So remember, we want to add a label to our picture so that we make it easy to read. All right, so now I'm going to write myself a sentence. And I'm going to start with the snap word, my. Here it is right here. My best. Like, you can say favorite, you can say best, whichever you like. Let's go with my favorite. My favorite day. Ready? Snap word was what? What was my favorite day? Right. It was Dr. Seuss. Remember, there's always that back button. Seuss's birthday. Day. And it was my favorite day, which means I'm going to add that punctuation of an exclamation point. Boys and girls, I asked you to do your best, okay? Now, you do not have to choose Mr. Baxter's favorite day. You don't. It's not. My favorite day doesn't have to be your favorite day. The cool thing is we can have different favorite days. Remember, we looked at a couple of pictures about going to the pumpkin patch. That's another idea that you could write about. We looked at the picture of our Christmas around the world day. That's another idea you could write about. But what about just a fun Friday? What about the day where you got through a book that you thought was too tough for you to read, but you used those awesome reading strategies? What about the day that you learned that you could count all the way to 100? What about the day where you finished that snap word list that was giving you so much trouble, but you showed grit and perseverance and you stuck through it? What about the 100th day of kindergarten, where we did awesome activities like make our 100th day snack and do our race to 100 and do 100 exercises and read 100 words? All of those things were amazingly fun times. Your favorite day in kindergarten may have been your birthday, where we got to celebrate so much with everybody, with your friends. Or it could have been your very first day of kindergarten, where you met everyone and you got to come into Mr. Baxter's hive and experience how much fun we were going to be having throughout the year. Your favorite day of kindergarten may be different from everyone else's, and that's okay, because it's a special day to you. Boys and girls, this is your final writing activity for your kindergarten year of 2020. Boys and girls, I am so proud of you. Let's take a quick check of where we were going and how we were going to get there, and I can't wait to see your activities on Seesaw, okay? So let's zoom it in one more time and check and see if we did what we needed to do today. Let's look. I can draw and write about a memory. Well, remember, Mr. Baxter drew and wrote about Dr. Seuss's birthday, right? Because how we get there today is I will write about my favorite day in kindergarten. Mr. Baxter's favorite day was Dr. Seuss's birthday. We can check that we got our learning target because we can check that we were able to show what we know. All right. Boys and girls, here we are. Remember to show with your pictures. Do your best. Draw a picture that looks ish like your favorite day of kindergarten. And then use your text tool if you want to type your words out, or use that pencil or pen tool to write a sentence. Remember to capitalize your first word. Remember to put finger spaces in between your words. Add some snap words to make sure it's easy to read. And put a punctuation at the end. Stretch and spell your words out, writing a letter for each sound that you hear. And you all will be the awesome authors and the Baxter Bees that I know you can be. Boys and girls, happy Friday, May the 15th, 2020, your last Friday of kindergarten. Baxter, out.